Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me out here in the pasture today. We're here with Sherlock, who's probably off frame at the moment, and Floppy's out here with me, and all of our spring bucks have walked out here with me. Thought they'd be a nice accompaniment to today's topic. I'm going to begin by reading you your 4th and 9th amendments from our Bill of Rights. 4th Amendment. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. And to follow that, here's our 9th Amendment. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage other rights retained by the people. Now, you might be asking, Jared, why are you reading the 4th and 9th Amendment to me? Well, it's pertinent to the topic I want to discuss. I learned today that a certain police chief of probably the 2nd largest jurisdiction in my immediate area, of which is also in the same county which I reside, is allegedly considering the use of autonomous flock drones to canvass his jurisdiction, and subsequently use these flying drones to share data with other law enforcement agencies within the area. That is frightening. Absolutely frightening. You know, growing up, we'd read stories of dystopian futures, as that in 1984, where the government was literally recording everybody all the time, whether they were at home or in public. And here we are in 2026, and a local, powerful leader of a police department is now wanting to do just that. You might think this is strange coming from me if you know me personally. I come from a law enforcement family. Many members of my family have been involved in law enforcement, close friends. I am grossly aware of the overreach that many police departments have employed in the past, but that pales in comparison to what is being done present day. You know, at one point in my life when I was younger, I deferred to law enforcement as typically being on the right side of history, being on the right side of the law, and seeking to preserve the public interest. And now I stand here and report to you that police departments are willingly wanting to record their citizens without any benefit of a warrant, without any benefit of a magistrate giving them order to do so, without any willingness of the people being recorded to offer up any potential information their recording may provide. We already see this with the flock camera systems and similar corporations of the same vein putting up cameras all across jurisdictions without consent of the people and recording people's personal data as they walk and drive through public spaces. That already is a gross overstepping of the 4th and 9th Amendments. The 4th Amendment, of course, meaning that you have the freedom of being unlawfully searched and if a police department wishes to obtain data about you or material evidence, they have to present a warrant. So when you're out in public being recorded, of which things are recorded within your vehicle or on your person, your Fourth Amendment is being violated. Likewise, with the Ninth Amendment, which essentially says that you as an individual, collectively the people of the United States, have rights which extend beyond our Constitution and may not necessarily be written down, but simply because they are not present in the Constitution does not mean you do not have those rights from birth, granted to you by God. You have the right to not be recorded in public for law enforcement purposes, unless that agency has a warrant specifically to obtain information or evidence about you. And if they do have a warrant, it has to state what specific evidence or information they're seeking. So, blanket recording of you at any time without your knowledge, without a warrant, without your permission, and that data being used to prosecute you or to intimidate you, that's wrong. And any police officer that does not see that does not preserve the integrity of the people that they are protecting, is not serving the public trust or the people. So, reading this information today about this particular individual, whom I will not name, if you want to know the name of this individual, you can find it on your own. It's easy. Reading this information today very much alarmed me. As I just said, the flock cameras, which are, put on poles, light poles, stoplights, things of that kind, those are already an overstep of personal privacy. But to have flying drones that can fly in the airspace above your property, over your head, over your home, over your yard, it absolutely makes me livid. You are entitled to privacy on your property. And that doesn't mean, oh, you must have something to hide, or you must be guilty of something. You are born as an American citizen with the right to having boundaries around your private life. And that could mean, gee, I don't want somebody watching me from the sky while I work in my shed crafting pottery. Or I don't want somebody watching me while I'm gardening. Maybe I don't want somebody watching me while I'm swimming in my own pool. And I don't have to tell you that, of course, already these flock camera systems and similar companies have had their video information used for nefarious purposes, for personal interests of people that have access to their controls. People use them to spy on others just for their own personal gain. Imagine what sort of activity would happen if they had access to eyes in the sky. They could float over your car, over your home, over your pasture. There could be one over me right now watching me record this video. Meanwhile, I'm standing in a goat pasture, which is no threat to anybody. And they could use that information and that recording to intimidate and threaten me without actually following through with any sort of law enforcement measure. Because sometimes, as we have learned, the process is the punishment itself. And we see that all over this country as of late, where it's not the threat of going to jail or paying a massive fine. It's the threat of being put through the machine. That's the punishment. You have certain inalienable rights that no one can take from you. You're born with them, whether you're a religious person or not. Those rights were granted to you and laid upon you and given to you the moment you were conceived. You have the right to not be recorded unless you allow it. I am allowing myself to record myself right now. But if someone that I didn't know approached me and said, "Hey, Jared, can I record you? I'm not going to tell you why, and you're not going to get a copy of the video, and I'm just going to stand here and do it at any time, day or night. I may use night vision. I may look in your car. I may look through a window in your home. You cool with that?" No, I'm not cool with that. But that's essentially what's happening with these flock cameras, and especially if people are using drone cameras that fly overhead. And in this day and age where video can be so easily doctored using computers and AI, and false evidence could potentially be generated, which could then be turned over to receive a warrant, which could go and allow law enforcement to go into your home. Do you think they wouldn't do that? Do you trust your local officials and law enforcement and in your government to not exploit all options available to get what they want? Because they will. And if you don't think that, you're naive. Like I said, I come from a law enforcement family. In a different life, I would have been a police officer myself, perhaps. So it hurts me to talk this way about law enforcement. I've known a lot of really good officers in my time. A lot of people that I trust. But those people are few and farther between now. And I certainly don't trust a corporation to record me without my consent and put my interests at the forefront of their security. That's something to think about. Remember your Bill of Rights. Remember the 4th and 9th Amendment. You have a right to not be recorded unless you allow it. Anyway, that's some meat for you to chew on. Keep that in mind this week. No matter where you live, whether in the United States, on the East Coast, whether you're in Virginia or North Carolina, whether you're in California, Oregon, and anywhere in between, Nebraska, Texas. I know my viewers come from all over. You as an American citizen are granted those rights at birth. The government does not give you those rights. You have them from the start. And our government should work to preserve those rights. Now, if you live outside the United States, lots of countries are more oppressive than ours currently. And if you live in one of those places, I do feel sorry for you. I wish you had a Bill of Rights like ours, where at least sometimes the public interest is preserved. So keep that in mind this week. Remember your rights. If you're not familiar with the Constitution, your Bill of Rights, I'll provide a link below. Please read it. If you don't understand it, read it again. Let the words sink in. There are websites available to you that will explain what each amendment means. Or you can send me a message or leave me a comment and I will explain it to you. You don't have to be a lawyer to understand your rights. Keep that in mind. I'm going to get back to this herd, and I want you to get back to your family and understanding your place as an American citizen. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you again real soon.